This video will be a presentation on the contents of our blog, New Approaches to Learning, as well as what resulted from the broader class discussion on ability-based learning. The question we consider throughout the video is, how can the educational environment be designed for a multi-age or ability-based learning scenario?
So one of the first major areas that we examined were different approaches to teaching. So what are some of the ways that we can approach teaching in a learning environment of this type? So one of the first things that came out of our conversation was that a learning environment of this type should be student-centered. This, by definition, is students taking a more active role in their learning by shifting the responsibilities of organizing, analyzing, and synthesizing content from the teacher to the learner. So by making it more student-centered, the students are able to have a say in the way that their learning is changing and growing. Students can work at their own pace, and they can discover on their own, and they'd be able to have a say in how their learning is developed and how it shapes into the future. Another way that that we found as a group, as a class, but also in our blogging group, that teachers could approach this would be that we could take advantage of students learning from their peers. So because you're going to have multiple ages in the same classroom potentially, the older students could teach the younger students. So once they've mastered certain materials, that they could definitely collaborate with the younger students, and they could teach them certain skills and certain things that they're currently trying to master. As well, students can work very collaboratively in this type of environment. So it can be organized in a way where there's different learning centers. Students can work collaboratively not only with people that are working at the same level as them within the same classroom, but technology would also open them up to being able to collaborate with students who are working at the same level as them, potentially in other educational environments, potentially with students from different schools or online, which can take it outside of the regular classroom environment.
Times have changed. What's in the classroom has changed also. There used to be chalkboards. Now there are smartboards. Students used to do their work in their notebook. Well, notebook sure has a new meaning today. It used to take hours to do research. Now information is available instantaneously from multiple sources. The classroom itself is different too. Here is a traditional schoolroom with the teacher, the figure of authority, at the front. The students sit at their desk in rows facing the front. The teacher doesn't sit at the front of the class anymore. Where is the front of the class anyway? And who took the teacher's desk? The classroom of the 21st century has undergone a metamorphosis. The dynamics of the learning environment have changed, and the layout of this environment has changed to meet its evolving needs. Modern classrooms are designed to shift the focus away from the teacher to create a learner-centric space. The classroom today is connected. Digital resources and online tools are available and utilized to complete an array of activities. Classrooms are configured with flexibility in mind to accommodate group meetings of the entire class, small group collaboration, one-to-one dialogue, and individual activities. In considering the layout of a learning space that would be conducive to a multi-age learning scenario, all of these features would be not only beneficial but essential. The pedagogy structures the environment. The environment should never dictate the pedagogy.
In considering the idea of a multi-aged and ability-based learning environment, it's interesting and valuable, I think, to consider the question, how could the use of technology shape and facilitate the learning process to be able to reach beyond the walls of a traditional classroom setting? I really think that there are two areas that the technology can help to shape the learning environment and experience, and one is increased access to content, and the second is through facilitating collaboration. With students having access to so much content so quickly and so readily through wikis and blogs, information sites, online databases, online libraries, it allows for a shift in the curriculum to be more focused on things like research and analysis and connection of information and ideas that students can search out, instead of things like memorization of facts and content coming from the teacher to the students. With this shift, the education can provide the flexibility for more student-centered learning and allow each student more opportunity to work with their own abilities in their own areas of interest at their own pace. Collaboration is important as well. It helps students make valuable connections with other students at the levels a given student is working at and studying similar areas of interest. With connected collaboration tools like wikis, voice threads, Google Docs, blogs, social networking platforms, things like Adobe Connect as well, WebEx. Students can collaborate with other students of similar ability levels and areas of interest within their classroom, but also around the world or with other students that came before them.
Why is it important to foster a safe, supportive, secure, and credible online learning environment? A safe online learning environment ensures that students feel accepted and respected by peers and the instructor, and collaborative learning is achieved through scholarly discussions and constructive feedback. But how can a safe online learning environment be achieved? Well, faculty can model and provide guidelines on proper online communication, and academic institutions can outline the consequences for cyberbullying and other conduct detrimental to the well-being of all participants in the learning process. A supportive online learning environment prevents students withdrawing from courses or programs and also prevents a lack of engagement by building self-efficacy. But how can a supportive online learning environment be achieved? Well, faculty can be flexible with deadlines and workload. Instructors can also differentiate their instruction to accommodate the learning styles of students. And faculty and peers can offer encouragement to students struggling with their studies. A secure online learning environment protects the technologies and people involved in the learning process by preventing unauthorized access to user accounts and preventing the corruption of computing devices and the learning management system itself. But how can a secure online learning environment be achieved? Well, by not sharing logon credentials, using antivirus software, allowing only authorized users and devices to connect to the learning system, and employing reliable and resilient backup and recovery strategies to protect data and the learning system. A credible online learning environment aims to maintain academic integrity by deterring plagiarism and cheating. This helps to ensure the integrity of academic credentials conferred upon students. But how can a credible online learning environment be achieved? Well, academic institutions can clearly define what academic dishonesty is. Instructors can clearly indicate the citation style they want their students to use during a course. And students, faculty, and staff can sign an acceptable use policy stipulating the proper use of the online learning system. Furthermore, less emphasis can be placed on examinations and more attention on writing assignments and electronic portfolios. Finally, the online testing environment can be monitored using remote access tools.
The role assessment plays in education continues to change, and in our proposed learning environment, where learning is organized according to ability rather than grade structures, assessment can be approached by using it more as a motivating and confidence-building tool, as opposed to a tool used to compare peers. Some things our group discussed both in our blog and in the broader class discussion were the roles of peer evaluation, peer assessment, and self-assessment. Peer-designed assessment and peer evaluation are integral parts in ability-based learning, because in this academic model, learning is student-centered and students take ownership of their own learning by reflecting on not only their own but others' work, as they're often learning in collaborative teams. By allowing peer assessment in ability-based learning, you're likely to see increased student autonomy and knowledge of expectations, because assessment is most effective when it's ongoing. Peer assessment can be effective because it moves away from putting the focus on marks towards emphasizing learning characteristics involved in a task, and in ability-based learning, peer assessment helps give teachers a way to identify resources that support individual learners. Self-assessments allow students to understand their own learning styles and preferences, and this way students monitor and enhance their own learning process through the development of self-assessment and reflection skills. These skills are important in ability-based learning because this model is very learner-driven and depends on those independent reflective skills. The ability-based learning model focuses on creating learning opportunities and experiences for students to help them with identifying their own learning styles, and then implementing techniques to help them learn in what's going to be the most productive and positive way possible. Self-assessment can be a powerful tool in enabling students to monitor their own learning and set goals for future progress. When learners gain these skills, it leads students to become more self-directed and reflective, which helps them advance in ability-based learning environments.
The Wordle generated below using feedback from peers during our class on Wednesday, June 6, 2012, emphasizes that students learn differently and that multi-age, ability-based learning in an online environment should be explored as an alternative to educating students strictly by grade level. To learn more about multi-age, ability-based learning in an online environment, please visit our blog at uoitonlinetech.wordpress.com. Thank you for your time and interest.